Well, here we have the question from Mr. Javier from Cancun, Mexico. Hello, good morning. My name is Javier. I'm from Cancun, Mexico, and I have a question. Go ahead. I'm single. Well, almost everyone in Latin America is practically living a single life because marriage is unfortunately no longer in style. I want to get married. Congratulations. And most men don't have that intention. That's very good that you have that intention. With a woman who is of the Christian faith, but one of the rules in very legalistic denominations is that I have to be of their religion. Those who don't believe in their religion are called Gentiles. I have gone to their church, despite being Muslim. I would like to teach her about the Muslim religion, but I think she will hardly accept it and will distance herself from me. Greetings. Well, salam alaikum, Mr. Javier. How are you? Dear brother, I'm going to explain to you how we are going to fall in love with a woman. Look, being single, you have a need that is largely a physical need called sex. On one hand, it's an emotional need, to have the company of a lady who is your wife. So that's the need that a man has. It's like when I'm hungry and I smell the aroma of food, I love it. When I see the food, I want to eat that food because I have that need. When a human being has a need and is going to see what can satisfy that need, he will love it. It will motivate you to approach that food. In the case of a couple, it's the same. You have a need that we've mentioned, and for the most part, let's say, well, it varies according to the person, but generally for men, most of that need is, let's say, sex on one hand, which also varies among men. And then there's the emotional, sentimental part of marriage. For women, the emotional part is much bigger, while the sexual part is smaller. For example, for women, let's say 60 to 70% is the emotional part. Women need to be loved, cherished, respected, hugged, and they need about 30 to 40% sexual relationship. But for men, it's the opposite. 60 to 70% need to have sex, a strong sexual relationship with a woman called their wife, and 30 to 40% or less need that loving relationship. Emotion, love, and affection. A man wants to be adored, admired, to be the powerful king in a woman's life. This is what a woman needs, to be supported, while a man needs to be the supporter. Whoever supports provides support. Well, in sexual relationships, it's the same as what happened with food. When you already have that need, you remain single and have that need. When you see food, you smell the aroma of food, and you think that that food can satisfy your bodily need, which is hunger. It brings you closer, you love it, you want to eat that food. The same thing happens with a girl. You see that girl, you love her, she's a sweet girl, she's for you, she's a beautiful girl. That girl can satisfy your need for a partner, so it draws you in. It's like you're sniffing the food. It's like you're sniffing, but in another way. It's like when you're observing her, talking to her, it's the way we do it with food, sniffing the aroma of the food. Are you sniffing her aroma? Then you love it. That can satisfy my needs. That's what I'm looking for. That's my other half, right? So you start to fall in love with her, period. The question is she the only person who can satisfy you in this life? The answer is no. Before we start, let's begin with this question. Does she have the qualities of a woman that can bring me success? That's the first question. It means you have to start with the intellectual format before falling in love with her. Because once you've fallen in love with her, it means you've decided to buy that food. And now they tell you, look, that food is poisoned. That food isn't good. So it's hard to detach yourself from that food, to forget about that food because you've loved it and you've decided to eat that food. Now, at the moment they serve you, the guy says, no, it's expensive, you can't eat it, you're not willing to pay that price. It's hard to get rid of that food. It's hard to say no to that food once you've served it on your plate. The same thing happens with a girl. That's why we say before you fall in love, before you sniff that aroma too much, before you let her emotionally hook you, think about it. make the decision intellectually. Then you enter into a romantic relationship. But unfortunately, in Latin America, what they've been taught is to jump into a romantic relationship. And now she's my girlfriend. We're fornicating. And then she says, oh, but she doesn't want to convert, and she's asking me to convert to her church. Oh, how difficult. It's not possible. I don't want that church. That church is false. They're already loading me with so much stuff that I don't want. It's too late. It means that it's going to hurt you. If you want to separate from the one you love, it emotionally damages you. If you want to continue with her, it harms your whole life, even your eternity, because she wants to lead you astray. So this is where the problem starts. That's why the brother asked that question. You should be rational. Talk to her. If she never accepts you as a Muslim, she's closed-minded. So continuing the relationship is hard. If you are going to see that she never wants to accept you as a Muslim, not now, not later, not ever again, she is so fanatic, she already has her head closed. Since this is a stereotype of these sects, it's hardly possible for you to continue in that relationship. If you see that she's indeed willing to marry you while you're a Muslim, and you can move to another city that's a considerable distance away from this sect, it means you can separate her from the sect and gradually teach her. She's an open-minded girl, and you can slowly guide her towards Islam. Well, you can think about that relationship where you marry her, you move to another city, and little by little, you're providing her with spiritual nourishment. Little by little, you help her, even if she doesn't want to convert to Islam, to at least recognize you as a Muslim, you understand. So you can continue in that relationship, but if you see that she's one of those stubborn fanatics who neither wants to convert to Islam nor accepts you as you are, and she wants to be the dominant part of the relationship, wanting to control you for life and make you convert to her misguided sect, then we never recommend continuing in that relationship. What we recommend is that just as you've gotten so close to that dish and have sniffed it so much and fallen in love with that food, you can forget about it when you approach another dish with a different aroma. In Mexico, there are many really good girls, charming Muslim girls, for a single guy like you. You've left all those Muslim girls behind. Go to Mexico City, where the Muslim community is. There are many really good girls. Now you have to manage your emotions. If you're going to come to the conclusion that she isn't right for you, that she's not a good woman for you, then go ahead and make that tough decision. Okay? Once you make the difficult decision, you're better off taking a life with a lot of difficulties. Making a painful, difficult decision is already resolved, but letting yourself be carried away by such a life is eternal torture. The separation will pass, but after leaving you with many costs in life. That means the separation is going to happen today, not tomorrow, because many times these loves are what we call temporary loves that come and go. Once you've experienced everything she had to offer for 6 months or a year, then comes the tough part of the relationship. You can't stand a woman who wants to be the dominant one in the relationship, who wants to control you, force you, and make you convert to her faith. So that's going to weigh heavily. Just imagine, if you want to separate from her and you have 2 kids, it's going to be even harder, much harder. So the solution is very clear. The solution is already there. I've explained everything to you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.